Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something I know a lot of you are watching closely. SpaceX's next big attempt with Starship, Flight 10.
And it's a fair question. Why are we all so glued to our screens, watching a rocket that, let's be honest, has a history of spectacular fireballs? Well, the answer gets you right to the heart of one of the most audacious projects in, well, human history. It's about a completely different way of thinking about space.
So first things first, what exactly is Starship? Well, you have to understand it's not just one rocket for one job. It's a single vehicle designed to tackle two absolutely monumental, galaxy-sized goals at the same time.
Okay, so on one hand, you've got NASA, who has picked Starship as their ride to get astronauts back on the moon for the first time in more than half a century. A huge deal. But for SpaceX and Elon Musk, that's really just a stop along the way. The real prize, the ultimate endgame, is using this exact same rocket to make humanity a multiplanetary species by building a self-sustaining city on Mars. And to even attempt goals that big, you need a rocket that is, frankly, enormous. Fully stacked, the whole thing stands at 394 feet. To put that in perspective, that's way taller than the Statue of Liberty. It is an absolute beast.
But, and this is a big but, a vision this grand comes with some serious growing pains. The road to the moon and Mars has so far been paved with, well, a lot of explosions.
And we have to be clear, success is anything but guaranteed. Just this year, all 3 of the test flights have ended with the rocket being lost. So yeah, the pressure is building with every single launch.
And what's truly mind-boggling here is the pace. Just look at this timeline. Flight 9 is lost in late May. The very next ship they had ready explodes on the ground less than a month later. And despite all that, they're aiming to fly again by the end of August. It's an unbelievably aggressive schedule. Now, you might think this is just reckless, but it's actually a core part of their strategy. For SpaceX, a failure isn't a disaster, it's a massive data dump. They build, they fly, it fails, they figure out why, and they immediately roll those fixes into the next one. It's all about rapid, incremental upgrades.
So, what does that mean for the next mission? Well, with Flight 10, the goals are getting way more specific and way more difficult. This isn't just about reaching orbit anymore.
Okay, look at this checklist. It is incredibly ambitious. They need to prove they can deploy payloads, they need to restart an engine in the vacuum of space, which is super tricky, and then here's the big one, they need to guide both massive parts of the rocket back through the atmosphere for a soft, controlled landing in the ocean.
And I can't stress this enough. Hitting those splashdown targets, it's everything. A controlled splashdown is the last major hurdle they need to clear before they can try the really crazy part, catching the booster with the giant arms on the launch tower. That right there is the key to unlocking a fully and, more importantly, a rapidly reusable rocket. It's the whole ballgame.
So, you see the pace, you see the explosions, you see the ambition. Why the incredible urgency? Why push so hard, so fast, with all these risks? Well, it all comes down to one very important deadline. This is the year you really need to remember. And this isn't some arbitrary date SpaceX set for themselves. No, this is a national priority.
That's the year NASA's counting on Starship to land its Artemis 3 astronauts on the lunar surface, putting boots back on the moon for the first time since the Apollo missions. For that to even be possible, Starship has to become a proven, reliable, human-rated spacecraft. And you can bet that the clock is ticking, very, very loudly.
So at the end of the day, what it all comes down to is this. Flight 10 is so much more than just another test. It is a critical, high-stakes moment in our return to deep space. Every single objective they manage to nail brings the moon and eventually Mars that much closer. But another big failure could put those massive dreams and those tight deadlines in serious jeopardy. All we can really do now is watch.